And like all good talk shows that end with prognostications, let's go down the line. We are now at 3 megabits of speed. The mainland's at 10, and Korea's at 36. Again, using the Honolulu Advertiser editorial.
Okay. The top state.
The
Delaware.
top state, the top nations.
Okay.
Where, if we do get the bill, if we do get stimulus funds, can viewers expect we in Hawaii should be in, say, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? What do you guys see down the line? Can we, in fact, excel and be a national model?
That was one of the promises of the bill. It said that one of the goals that the commission would adopt would be to essentially be in the top 3 states in the country by 2012. That was going to be somebody's task. They were going to be graded on it. They were going to be hired and fired on it. So without having somebody like that, it's a little less certain right now, but it's achievable.
That's certainly somebody who would have to wake up in the morning and say, now how am I going to push Hawaii speed?
Right.
I'd forgot that was actually in the bill. I like bills like that to say, if you pass this, this is what you're going to get out of it. And if you don't have targets and goals and horizons, if you recall the treasure cat in Alice in Wonderland, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And I think sometimes that's the way that Hawaii goes. Prognostication, David, where are we and where are we going to go? Well, is it by 2010,
I mean, I think
12,
it's
doable?
Really important. Larry mentioned earlier that federal law describes exactly what states can, how far they can go. And so I think the Obama administration does have, through the FCC, this development of a national strategy. And I think achieving international competitiveness, it would be extremely difficult for Hawaii without a major change in the national strategy as well. And I would say even more so, if we had created this the Hawaii Broadband Task Force, let's just say in 2003, 2004, we would have come up with a proposal on how to spend money to advance Hawaii's broadband capability. By the time we finished our task force report at the end of last year, it was quite obvious that any proposal that was going to cost money would be dead on arrival. So we worked very hard to craft a set of recommendations that would not cost the taxpayers a penny. And that's a constraint that makes it really hard to leapfrog to where somewhere like Korea or Japan, which have fairly aggressive regulation and public investment.
But in this economy, that's music to legislators' ears. When there's no money, literally, for much of anything, it's going to be difficult, and that's where the stimulus funds are going to be very instrumental. Right. Larry, are the PEG wars going to continue? Are they going to die down? I mean, if I'm a PEG, am I going to be threatened because somebody's going to bid against my TV station, even though I've been around for 20 years?
They appear to feel that way. They are concerned. They express concern over the possibility that somebody might come in and I guess offer a better or cheaper service, and they might be selected. And they say, how can you put free speech out to bid?
You mean like if I was, say, one of the stations that's going out of business, they might think that I would be interested in doing a Lalo contract rather than my national TV station?
May I hesitate to speak for what the PEG entities are really have in mind when they express these concerns and these fears. Maybe that's something in mind. I don't really know, but they worry about the prospect of competition, and they just don't think it fits. And frankly, for that matter, the department has advocated in favor of an exemption too. I don't want to hang the pegs out to dry on this issue. The department and the administration have favored exempting the PEGs.
So it's a non-bid in effect then?
That's right. The state procurement office has taken the hardline position that no, we must procure these contracts. And as such, that's the law of the land as far as we're concerned.
When any state money goes out, taxpayers' money has to be put up for competitive bidding. If we break through that one, is there anything that you guys see will stop Hawaii from getting up to the front of the line?
Well, that just addresses the PEG issue.
I mean, because that was still. Which is now the second issue between Oceanic and Hawaiian Telecom, where they were kind of wanting to get on the even playing field.
Right. And so the Hawaiian Telecom deregulation portion of it was a big part, and Hawaiian Telecom dereg passed in part.
neither of them seemed to say too much during the task force meetings, but afterwards it was like, hey, it's not an even playing field. One was getting an advantage over the other. Does that look to be not an insurmountable, but something that can be?
I mean,
and I know you can't speak for either of them, but
yeah, I mean, but I think it's a correct statement that the playing field is not level for the reasons that Larry discussed last week. They're under different regulatory regimes and different regulators in different sections of federal law. So it was never designed as a, quote, level playing field. I think our objective from the task force would be to say that's exactly an appropriate objective, to try and, as much as the federal law allows, create a level playing field for competitors. And it's very difficult to do in the current environment.
Well, how we map the legislation is one thing, but how it's sold and how much communication is going on. That's why I asked earlier about the dialogue that takes place before the actual session, before the actual hearings.
Right.
Another rumor that had came up in some of my note preparation, it said that some of the Asian visitors in Waikiki were complaining when they visit Hawaii that the internet speed is so slow that that it's having an impact on their business and probably on our economy. Is there any do tourists call you guys up and say, hey, your internet is slow?
To be honest with you, no. We've read reports in the paper, folks talking to tourists in Waikiki who've made the comments, and so we've heard that, but they don't call our office.
So I thought of a lot of things that tourists complain about, but I had never heard until I saw my notes here about.
I travel a fair amount for business, and it's something that I notice when I'm traveling on business. There are places worse off than us. If you ever go to a Pacific island and want to get onto the internet, you will thank your lucky stars for what we have here in Hawaii.
You bring fond memories of my days as the Peace Corps country director in East Timor, which when we got on the internet, we basically went and made coffee between the time that we signed on and the time that it came on.
That's right.
And yeah, we are, I think we're in relatively good shape. But if we continue this media, YouTube, video, someday, beam me up, Scotty, you guys may be in your offices and we're having this conference, but it's going to take all of that pipeline to get bigger and to get the broadband. And let's face it, gentlemen, America has no more manufacturing to speak of. Well, we got brains and we've got money. And this broadband issue is the way that we can channel this throughout all of the world and for all the technologies and all the developments that we've had. And I thank you guys for what you've been doing. Any closing comments before we wrap up?
I just want to amplify your last comment. And Hank Rogers, local entrepreneur, was a member of the task force. And that was exactly his point, that we need this capacity so that we can create the applications in this country that will be selling throughout the world. And if we're designing applications to run on a dirt road and the rest of the country, the rest of the world has freeways, they're not going to want to run our applications on their network.
Just not going to make it. Larry, closing comment?
And Hawaii, as an island in the middle of the Pacific, needs it more than anybody else in this country.
As the remotest place in the world, this is the way to bring us the closest to everywhere in the world.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, you've been very elucidating on our problem and with solutions. We're looking forward to broadband in 2012, maybe number 3 in the nation, maybe even if we get up to number 30, we'll probably be doing